Hello, and welcome to Two of a Kind Sports, the show where passion meets the game. I'm your co host, Denise,
And I'm your co-host, D Nice.
and thank you so much for joining us. I would like to first welcome back my illustrious co host, D Nice, who is
Hey,
now back on the scene with a gangster lean. So,
yes, right.
welcome back, D
Ooh,
Nice.
ooh, yes, right. That's
Happy
right
to
in that
have
gangster
you
lane.
back with us right here on Two of a Kind Sports. We were kind of one of a kind for a little while, but we are
Hey,
two of a kind, Denise and Denise, and we are here bringing you some clips and highlights from the press conference the Commanders had, where they introduced their new offensive coordinator, David Blough, and the new defensive coordinator, Daronte Jones. So the presser featured Dan Quinn, our head coach, and he addressed a few matters with the team. But the most important thing and the most exciting thing was we actually had a chance to see David Blough and Daronte Jones talk to the media, take questions, and share their vision for the team for this upcoming season. So that was very interesting to see. D Nice?
yes. So, basically, when I saw the presser this week, even for when Dan Quinn introduced um, Daronte Jones and David Blau, it was so refreshing, Denise. One thing that some of the things that I picked up on, I didn't hear a lot of buzzwords. I didn't hear a lot of rah rah. I just heard about them being great teachers and being able to actually communicate and be more transparent. So, um, Durante Williams, the most thing I like when JP Finley and I like what John Keim asked him, it's like, what type of style do you see with this defense? And from what Durante Jones said, also known as DJ, from what he said was that we're going to be running multiple fronts. So it's not going to be just a 3-4 look or 4-3. It may be pre-snap. It may look one coverage, but by post snap, it's going to confuse and put a lot of pressure on the defense. So I was really, really happy what I saw from and what I heard from Durante Jones, along with David Blau. He also gave me the confidence to say, "Hey, I think finally, as you know, Denise and Commander fans out there, I've always said, even in the old Cliff Kingsbury style offense, I did not think that Jaden Daniels' uh, talent level would evolve. So
Right, you did
I'm
say that.
happy. Yeah, I'm happy to see now. We listen to David Blau's presser that he was saying that Jaden will be a little more under center. He will also, we will use more play action, waggles, and keepers which can maximize his talent and also help to protect Jaden. So that's the thing we have to have this year on the offensive side is for Jaden to be protected by the OC and also for Jaden to protect himself. But other than that, the presser, Denise, was phenomenal. I like what I heard. I mean, they had both of them had 24 minutes on their presser, so they had a lot to say. And it was pretty good easing listening to them and not being able to say, you can kind of follow them. You know what I mean? Like I said before, the main thing is we still got to go out there and see, once the season is going on. So, what do you get from the presser? I want to know when you watch DQ introduce these two gentlemen, what were your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, I really wanted to fast forward past Dan Quinn because we know he's one of the great philosophers of our time. You know, we had Socrates, we had Plato, we had Aristotle, and now we have the mighty Quinn and Dan Quinn with all of his philosophies. And, he's got his gestures and, he's got his vision. He's
Mm-hmm.
explaining all these wonderful things. And you would know by all of his philosophizing that he coached a team that was and
12.
uh 5-12.
Yeah,
Nah,
5 and 12.
look, I'm stuck on the 5 wins. Five wins, and two
Yeah.
of those wins come with an asterisk because thank goodness the Giants, who are a bigger disaster than the Commanders, were on the schedule twice. And then the Philadelphia Eagles in the last game of the regular season chose to sit their starters and put their backups out. So our
Right.
starters had to work hard to beat the Philadelphia Eagles backups. So 2 of those wins out of the 5 come with an asterisk. But Dan Quinn is still being Dan Quinn. He's still doing his thing. But what I did key in on is Dan Quinn was asked why he made the hires that he did. And please play the first clip of Dan Quinn explaining why he made the selection that he did.
Is where would my time and attention go, knowing, all right, what's going to be different offensively, what would be different defensively. I'm glad, to be honest with you, DA,
Okay,
because it
there we
forced
go.
me into some spaces to look and what could be different and what could be better. And so Daronte was one of those people that you meet, you're like, all right, I get it. And I connected with him instantly about a vision for defense and how you'd play, the ability to create takeaways, the ability to have disguises. And so I felt alignment even before we got to know each other well. We've all had those experiences where, like, you meet somebody, you just hit it off. I think from a football standpoint, we hit it off quickly. And then that's what made the difference to me, knowing that there was excellent veteran coaches and guys who didn't have as much experience, but just weighing it through it all. And I came back to him time and time again of just the teaching, the football acumen and what we were looking for. And it just really fit what we needed.
Coach, when looking at hiring David Blough, how important was it for you guys to have a sense of
Okay.
Okay, so that was the first clip of why Dan Quinn chose to hire Daronte Jones.
Right.
And listening to Daronte Jones in this presser,
Mm-hmm.
I totally get how Daronte Jones completely aced the interview.
Yes.
Because he's
Very
very
articulate.
direct when he answers questions. He's very specific with the details.
Mm-hmm.
And what he says actually makes sense. And because of his wide berth of experience in teaching and coaching players from school age through college and now in the pros, he's got a lot of experience coaching
Absolutely.
and teaching. So
on all levels from
yes.
back, like you said, high school up into college, up into the NFL. And that's great. That's great pedigree.
Right.
We hear a lot of people, Denise, we hear a lot of people say, oh, well, DQ was, are using 2 unproven people on both sides of the ball.
Well, he
But
is.
yeah, he is.
He is.
He is as far as play
But
calling.
everybody
not
has
as
to get
experience.
experience from somewhere.
Exactly. Where did Joe Gibbs get his experience from? Hey, everybody has to have a
Somebody
chance.
gave him a chance.
Exactly.
Somebody gave him
Don
an
Coryell,
opportunity.
Don Coryell gave Joe Gibbs his chance back in '82. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
when Joe Gibbs became the head coach here, nobody knew about Joe Gibbs. Actually, we went 0-5, as everybody knows. That's historians of the Washington Redskins, now Commanders. You know what I mean? So, I'm glad, that DQ has taken faith, having faith in these 2 gentlemen, and say, you know what? I know my seat is a little warm, but I'm gonna stick my neck out, and I think I'm gonna hire the best candidates, not the best people, the best candidates for this team that can help this team go into another direction. So I like what he's done. Yes, it is a risky move, but high risk, low reward type of thing. But I like it. I like it. And if Dan Quinn gonna go out on the shield, I think this is the best way to do it. You have a young mind that was heavily courted in the NFL. A lot of people were going after David Blough, even with the Detroit Lions. Because I really believe had we really waited, I think David Blough would have gone back to Detroit and been under Dan Campbell. So I'm happy, and I'm happy that we did take our time in finding the right defensive coordinator. And I really, really think that Daronte Jones, DMV finest from Capitol Heights, Maryland,
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's here. Not just because he's from the area, but I just think he has the mantra. I think he has the defensive IQ. Okay? Now, AP, now that we have him here, get this man some talent. We need some dogs.
Yeah.
I don't care who you have back there. If you do not have talent on the field on both sides of the ball, you're going to get the same results that we got last year, and that was 5-12. And I don't want that for 2026, ladies and gentlemen. So, no from D Nice. That's what I'm saying. AP has to help these guys, you know what I mean, to be able to perform at a high level. And what I like about these coaches, Denise, and I'm sure that you heard this in the presser, both of them said, it's not about scheme. It's about putting the players in the best position to succeed.
Right, right. And getting back to Daronte Jones specifically,
Mm-hmm.
um, when Quinn was asked why he made the hire, when he said he needed someone with experience and people were expecting him to hire someone with experience, what DQ said
Mm-hmm.
was that there was a connection.
Right.
You know, when
Yes.
he interviewed Daronte Jones, there was a connection. There was a rapport established between those two gentlemen. And we know Dan Quinn goes with his gut. He goes with his vibes and his feelings. So the way Daronte Jones comes across,
Mm-hmm.
he's very personable. He's clearly a people-oriented person, but he knows the different styles of learning. He knows about organizational structure. Okay. He knows what it's like to lose. He knows what it's like to win. He's a man with a plan. So I totally see
Mm-hmm.
how Daronte Jones totally aced the interview, made a good impression, and established a rapport
Mm-hmm.
with Dan Quinn, because Dan Quinn he said, he kept going back to Daronte Jones, throughout this whole selection process of
Right.
looking at potential candidates. He kept going back to Daronte Jones, which means Daronte left a very favorable and lasting impression. And I
Absolutely.
got that from this press conference. So
Mm-hmm.
when Quinn was asked about why he hired David Blough, giving him such a promotion, he had an answer for that. So please play the second clip
I think
from Dan Quinn
from
explaining why he
he hit it
hired
off quickly,
David
and
Blough.
then that's what made the difference to me, knowing that there was excellent veteran coaches and guys who didn't have as much experience, but just weighing it through it all. And I came back to him time and time again of just the teaching, the football acumen, and what we were looking for, and it just really fit what we needed.
That's the
Coach, when looking at
answer
hiring
about
David Blough, how important was it for you?
That's the answer about Jones. Hit the other clip where he talked about why he hired David Blough and how he's confident about David Blough. So that would be the second clip, the
Actually,
second Quinn clip.
that was the second. The first one I played. That one's the second clip from DQ. Speaking on that.
Okay. Well, in the second clip, people were asking him
Mm-hmm.
about why he hired David Blough. Was it primarily because of Jaden Daniels?
Right.
And he said that was a consideration, but that was not the bottom line. That was not the prevailing factor. He said that, David Blough has been part of the team. He's been working with them. He's shown great promise, and he handled his job very well. So he was very confident in giving David Blough this opportunity, and
Right.
it was just a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get to Mr. Jones, Daronte Jones.
Yes.
Let's play his first clip when he was asked about the decision to hire him, about being hired here with the
elementary school, middle school, literally right across the street from where the stadium is in Palmer Park, Maryland. I went to Kenmore Middle School, and I went to Matthew Henson Elementary. So growing up a diehard fan, the family's backing it. So when the opportunity came, I thought it was a win-win situation when to put my best foot forward. And then when you talk about the people in the building, such as Dan Quinn, such as Adam Peters, great ownership with Josh Harris and the crew. I want to say thank you for that, by the way. I didn't mean to say it. I want to start off just by thanking the ownership, Josh Harris, thanking Dan Quinn, thanking Adam Peters for the opportunity that they've afforded me. But when you're around certain people and you see the alignment of the organization, ownership, management, head coach, quarterback, it's a win-win for not only the DMV, but a win-win for me as well. Thank you.
Coach John Duran with WUSA. You mentioned wanting to maximize all your players and be versatile. You mentioned Frankie Louvu as well.
So you know what, Denise? I like right there what I heard what Daronte was talking about. And as you alluded, as the reporter alluded to, talking about Frankie Louvu. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Frankie Louvu is not going to be our Van Ginkel. Okay, that's with currently with the Minnesota Vikings. But however, I do like that DQ is saying. I'm sorry, DJ is saying that he's going to Frankie works best going downhill, and I think we're going to have multiple fronts. He also was talking highly of Jordan McGee. You know, he mentioned about having more speed and the athleticism. He talked about Johnny Newton. He talked about Deron Payne. You know, so and here's the thing that a lot of people want to write off Bobby Wagner. He also talked about Bobby Wagner. He talked about that you need a good balance of vets and your youth. And for everybody that wants to say that they want Bobby, that's a matter of your opinion. But as I would say, Bobby Wagner is not just good for this team far as on the field. Bobby Wagner is good in the locker room. Bobby Wagner is good on the field. Bobby Wagner is also able to show guys how to be a pro. So you need those type of intangibles in your locker room. The only thing that I hope that DJ will not do like what Joe Witt did is expose Bobby and have Bobby in coverage. Now I understand sometimes as a linebacker you're going to be in coverage, but put him at his strengths. Bobby Wagner is a tackling machine. He doesn't have 2,000 tackles for just a reason. So let's put him in the best position where he can make plays, also to be able to move Louvu around. And I just think that Daronte has, I think with him coming under Marvin Lewis, under Vance Joseph, all these great minds, Brian Flores, I think he's now able to mesh that all into one and have his own product. So I'm excited, Denise. I know you are. I'm excited. I want to see how we turn out. And he talked about preseason. He talked about preseason as well, and he mentioned that it starts from preseason. So I'm excited. I don't know about you, Denise, but I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited too, and I found Daronte Jones to be very, very impressive because again, he knows about organizational structure. He knows the different learning styles, and his mantra in this press conference was person first, player second. He gets to know the person first, and then he gets to know the player. And he has done his homework. Okay, because when he was asked about the type of preparation that he did for this defense, he gave an excellent answer. And I want you to play the second clip of Daronte Jones in this press conference because he gave an outstanding answer in terms of what he's done to prepare himself and the players for this upcoming season.
But at least the overall 30,000-foot view plan of how to improve that individual player has already been addressed.
And as you go through these players, obviously you've got 1 year, 2 year, even sometimes more of NFL tape on these guys. But so
that wasn't the whole clip.
It's okay, but we get the gist of
that wasn't the whole clip.
Yeah,
he talked about how he has individual educational programs for these players. That is key because that is not something you would expect a person who just got a new job to already do because he just got hired. But just like in the press conference, he listed the different players with their various characteristics and attributes. He's already developed plans for his players. They are individual educational programs that are specifically designed for each player to maximize their gifts and talents. That is key because, I mean, hearing how in-depth Daronte Jones is, how detail-oriented he is, and how yet grounded he is, and how humble he is, and how he talked about the opportunity to take this job, but then he stopped himself. and gratitude was his attitude, because he stopped himself and said, first, I want to be thankful. First, I want to express my gratitude. So, and he talks about, player, person first, player second, but he's done his homework.
Right.
Okay. He's super prepared. So the only thing that I'm hoping that wasn't actually covered in this press conference is, I hope Daronte Jones's practices are very detailed and very regimented.
Yeah, he talks about details,
But I hope his practices.
Me too, because that's where it starts at. Me too. I hope the practices are very detail oriented, and I don't know why this clip stopped. I'll try it again, but in the clip that when I saw before, he also talked about finishing, and being able to, because one of the interviewers asked him about fast tackling, and that's something, as he mentioned, just like today on the B. Mitch and JP Finley show, he mentioned that that's a fundamental that you have to just have repetition. He said,
yes,
the way the collective bargaining agreement is, you can't take guys down to the ground in practice. So basically, on a scale of 1 to 10, he said 1 through 9, we're going to do 1 through 9 well. 10 meaning that we can't take them down on the field. Take them down on the ground. But other than that, as far as the technique, as far as the shoulder, the head to shoulder injury, he said. He also mentioned that now, because people are afraid of the targeting rule, that they're hitting lower, and that's what's causing a lot of knee injuries, leg injuries. But the main thing that he said each week, which sounds very refreshing to me, that this will be honed in. It will be practiced every week, as far as tackling drills, them tackling, because last year we were terrible. I'm sorry, I love my guys, but like when you go back to Quan Martin, I don't know what happened, but everybody wants to make the big hit, and I've always said that in our other videos. Everybody wants to, like, you play Madden, you want to hit the hit stick, so they want to knock them out and make a play, but at the end of the day, it's about getting him on the ground. It's about you holding your man up, and then it's a team game, and then you have your other guys coming in and swarm. So that's called game tackling. So I hope that we get back, and that kind of remind me when Greg Williams used to be here. That's one thing. That's one defensive style we have not had since back when Greg Williams was here with Joe Gibbs. And I would love to see that come back again, because with Greg Williams' defense, which I believe Daronte Jones can do, we were always physical, we played fast, and we were very detailed, and we executed. So I'm hoping, as I said, I'm hoping, that we can do this. And I like what he talked about. Let's see if this clip played one more time to the full. Let's hear Daronte.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
How much do you want to have? How much of the plan for each individual guy do you want to have in place before you meet them, and then how much obviously is going to be dictated by getting to know them further?
I think it's a balance, so coming in already, I've had a chance to watch the tape on just about everyone here in the building, on the team. I've developed, and here's a teaching background, I've developed an IEP for each player, an individualized education program, but just for football, in a way that these are the things that I see on tape that they do well, things they can improve in. Mm-hmm. How can we as a staff assist them in that improvement? And then when you meet that player and that player comes here and you start to get to know the guy, you may have to tweak it a little bit in terms of, again, their learning style. All right, is it more of walkthrough? Is it more film-based? Is it more auditory? So then we can get, but at least the overall 30,000-foot view plan of how to improve that individual player has already been assessed.
And as you go through these players, obviously you've got 1 year, 2 year, even sometimes more of NFL tape on these guys, but sometimes.
Yeah. So
that is what impressed me most.
Mm-hmm.
And from that alone, and I'm going to fly this mission solo. Okay. From that alone, I know it's premature. Okay. Mm-hmm. But from this presser alone, I am so ready to trade. Can I Can I make a trade?
Yeah, you can make a trade.
I'm ready to make a trade. I will trade Dan Quinn for Daronte Jones. If Dan Quinn is supposed to be such a great defensive mind, he's supposed to, be good at drawing up plays for the defense, which he has not shown me that he can. But I would be willing at this point, because I'm so desperate to get away from these 5 wins in a season. I like Daronte Jones as the head coach of this team.
You speaking that already, huh?
Yes, I like him as the head coach as opposed to Dan Quinn. I will trade Daronte. I will trade for Daronte Jones. I will give up Quinn to get Daronte Jones as our head coach, because I really like the way he answers questions. I like the way he thinks. I value his birth of experience.
Okay.
So I do like that. I did find him to be super impressive. Now, on the other side of the ball, going to David Blough. David Blough, for me, is the unproven commodity.
Okay.
He's the unproven commodity because inasmuch as he was part of this team's wonderful, victorious, winning season of 2024.
Yes.
I told you 2024 was a season where all of the planets aligned. Okay? Everything went well. So whatever could go well did go well for this team. And I cannot give this team full credit for that, because when you play that well and you win that much, there is supposed to be some sustainability. And because of the acute lack of sustainability, I just have to put 2024 down for the Commanders as a fluke. That is what I'm doing.
Okay.
Me flying my solo mission, 2024 conference finals was a fluke for the Commanders.
So before we even go into that video, what do you think from your ideas, from what you heard with David Blough, what do you think he's going to bring different to this offense that Cliff didn't do? Good question, right?
What he's going to bring is not a conference finals appearance like Cliff Kingsbury did.
Well, you don't know.
What David Blough will do. You're asking me, in my opinion, what I think. So no, of course we don't know, but we're talking, futuristic terms, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I don't see David Blough taking this team to a conference final the way Cliff Kingsbury did.
That's fair.
However, I do see David Blough doing well enough on with this offense to save Dan Quinn's job. Okay, I see him doing well enough with that. Now, when David Blough talked about, in essence, making Jaden Daniels a better pocket passer, in essence, and teaching him how to read defenses, in essence, that puts a lot of onus on Jaden Daniels to show us this progression, to show us the progress in his game. And we didn't see it this past season because of injuries. Okay, so there's that caveat. That is a serious mitigating circumstance. Okay, I'm not going to say it's an excuse. It's a mitigating circumstance as to why we weren't able to see Jaden Daniels' progress from his rookie season, because his rookie season was a wonderfully successful, rookie season. So the sophomore season, not so much due to injuries. But this year, this third year, the onus is going to be on him.
Right.
On Jaden Daniels to show that he's a student of the game, that he can be an accurate pocket passer and not be in such a hurry to run because he has that skill set. And he's going to have to show that he's able to read defenses.
Right.
So we have a lot to look forward to.
We do.
From our star quarterback, based on what David Blough, our new offensive coordinator, said in this presser. Please play clip number 1, where David Blough talked about how he felt getting this promotion, jumping 2 levels
You know,
in the
I don't know,
organizational
surprised.
hierarchy.
You feel like every step along the way you prepare for these.
And that would be David Blough 1.
Surprised may not be the exact feeling. It might be grateful, incredibly encouraged and motivated based on, what I've kind of seen over the past month of DQ's belief and building me up, man. From the first day I got here, I have felt a very specific development plan for me, whether it's getting to call plays in practice at different points along the way, whether it's getting to present in front of the team opportunities like that. So, I don't know if surprise is the right word, but incredibly grateful and thankful to be here.
See, you were a coach for 2 years, but you have the playing experience. So how much did playing in the different offenses, just playing quarterback in the NFL?
Okay,
Yeah.
so there was David Blough talking about how grateful he was. Now, he was not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
He was not surprised to be promoted and slid up the career ladder as quickly.
Yeah, because he said Dan Quinn had a plan for him at the beginning when he got hired. He had a plan out for him that was already, because I also believe there may be some type of conspiracy theory. I don't know. If Trevita Pritchett was still here, he's supposed to have been the next person in line.
And he probably would have been.
Probably would have, yeah. But I don't know. DQ, just make sure this works. That's all. I do think David Blough is a good offensive mind. The good thing is, though, Denise, he has some continuity with Jaden. He's been here the full 2 years along with Cliff. So they do have a great relationship. He actually works with Jaden more than what Cliff did. You know what I mean? Because as a coordinator, you're coming up with game plans, you're trying to script up stuff, but he was the actual quarterbacks coach and assistant quarterback coach. So he spent a lot of time with Jaden, honing in on his craft. And I also think this can be an advantage for David Blough because he knows what Jaden needs to get better at. He knows what
We
Jaden.
all know what Jaden needs to get better at.
No, we don't.
I mean, come on. It's
that.
not hard. It is not hard. So don't act
that.
like he has some special, insider
Right.
knowledge and all
No.
that. We know what he needs to get.
Yeah,
better
but I'm speaking of X's, not from X's and O's, which you see, me and you see. I'm talking about from a coaching standpoint, as far as footwork, as far as his cadence, as far as just timing, everything. That little stuff they know because they know the plays. We don't know. Yes, we know that he has to get better at his play, but that's a whole team thing. You know what I mean? Jaden, I believe if Jaden level play is up, that's going to help raise the bar for the other receivers that we have and running backs. So I'm also looking forward to new additions that we're going to have on the offense. I don't know who is that going to be as far as if we're going to have Debo come back or, one of my favorite free agent wide receivers that I want to bring in is Alex Pierce from the Indianapolis Colts. So I think he is a burner. He's a number 2 receiver that can take the top off, and so on and so off. Also go to even with a free agent and Isaiah Likely. Ben Sinnott, we have Ben Sinnott and we have Yanko. Not worried about Zach Ertz, but I don't think at that tight end position that we have enough explosiveness, and I don't think that they can help stretch the field. So with the talent, I think with both coordinators, if you get them more talent, I think you will make them look good. The schedule is going also a little bit because we got a tough schedule as far as who we play in the NFC West. NFC West. So basically, like I said in 2025, I'm saying in 2026, we're going to have to come out fast. and it's no, okay, well, we'll get it next week. We got to come out fast. We got to hit on all centers. And then the good thing of it is, Denise, nobody knows what David Blough is going to run, and nobody knows what type of defense Daronte Jones is going to run. So that's one thing we kind of got a little advantage on.
Right. That's true. And David Blough did talk about his vision for this offense when he was asked what does he bring to the table, because we know he's not been a coordinator before.
Right.
He was the assistant quarterbacks coach. So please play David Blough's second clip And let's
What is it
hear.
about you specifically that's going to positively impact this offense?
I think I'm going to try to bring out the best in everybody. I think whether it's coaches or players, there's going to be standards set with regard to excellence and, holding those guys to it. I think I've been really fortunate, like I mentioned a couple times, to see it done at a really high level and understand that you can't, compromise on the standards of excellence, and our offense will be held to it. Our coaches will be held to it, and it's what I expect from myself. And, it's a really fun opportunity to kind of implement from the ground up what, the Washington Commanders offense can look like in 2026.
David, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Big opportunity for you. I know you've developed a really good rapport and relationship with Jaden over the last couple of years. You've challenged him. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Right. So that was David Blough sharing his vision
Yeah.
of what he wants to bring to the offense and what he's going to expect both players and coaches to do in
Mhm.
terms of meeting his standards. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I look forward to it. I know you call me Mr. Optimistic all the time, so I'm optimistic. I'm sorry.
My expectations are tempered,
Yeah.
but if anybody has me
Yeah.
excited,
Mm-hmm.
it is Mr. Daronte Jones.
I get it. I get it.
It is him. For me, he's the key.
Okay.
He's that X factor
He the
on
X
this
factor.
team.
You
And
were
so
right.
if he can walk it the way he just we saw him talk it, then we've got a lot to look forward to. David Blough, he is what I'm expecting him to be, because again, I understand he has fresh eyes, and he's a bright young mind. He's 30 years old. He's eager. He has the established relationship with Jaden Daniels, our star quarterback. So I put all of those pluses in David Blough's favor. I give him that. Okay. However, unlike Daronte Jones, David Blough does not come in with clean hands, because David Blough was part of this staff when this team only won 5 games out of 17 opportunities. David Blough was part of this team when this team went on an 8-game losing streak. So yes, we can't put it on him.
Yes, but David Blough was part of a 12-5 team as well. Don't discredit and don't forget that.
But I'm balancing it out. And the thing about it is, he was part of the 12-5 team,
right,
that fell off of a cliff, not Cliff Kingsbury.
They got hit by a bus.
And in the world,
Uh-huh.
you are only as good as your last performance.
Absolutely.
So
You're
if you're going to look at David Blough and you're skipping all the way back to 2024,
right,
then you got on not rose-colored glasses, but burgundy and gold-colored glasses.
Right,
okay,
right.
because no, 2025 told a story.
Right.
2025 showed us who folks were.
2025 showed us who we really are. Like we said, Jaden masked a lot of deficiencies in 2024. We had a bad team in 2024, but it showed last year with the injuries. So that's
I don't think we had a bad team in 2024. We had a good team in 2024.
I think we had a bad team. I think. Well, when I say bad, I'm speaking far as defensive wise. Not
so you're only looking at one side of the ball.
Yeah, I'm looking at one side of the ball.
I'm looking
at that defense stunk year one. I've told you off record.
But that offense was able to carry them. So if the defense is so bad and the offense is so good, then what happened? Being bad got contagious
because you had different people. You didn't have a De'Ami Brown. You didn't have a that members what that was there wasn't there last year, and it's like we had a misfits of cast-offs. Wait a
minute. Oh, so you mean to tell me that Mr. Adam Peters got us a cast full of misfits, Mr. General Manager Extraordinaire.
Yes. Yes. I think his best hit last year was actually with Traylon Burks. I think that's his best wide receiver hit. I don't know why he kept
Who was
bringing in
underutilized.
right. I don't know why he kept bringing in Robbie Chosen, Chris Moore. I mean, Chris Moore has been in the league, but Chris Moore hands his butterfingers, you know? Him and I don't know. You know, I mean, I understand you wanted to have some vets there, but I just feel like we could have went after some guys a little bit more proven or not proven, what should I say?
Okay.
But the talent we brought in, I wasn't happy on. So I don't AP don't get a pass for me for last season either. I told you he's just as much the blame of the failure of the 2025 season as just as much as DQ, because he gave DQ the ingredients and it's up to DQ to cook, and DQ and them did not cook last year. Matter of fact, they sent that back. I don't want that.
Well, you know, my problem with Adam Peters is that he specifically in his joint presser with Dan Quinn, specifically he said the health and player performance team to him did well. And he said he was pleased with the health and player performance team. And there is absolutely no way. Not only was that inaccurate, that was just dishonest. Okay. But, you know, he said it. Adam Peters said it, and it's out there. And I am going to continue to hold that against him. So that is definitely subtracting from his credibility in my eyes. But what I'm hopeful about is because we have a new offensive coordinator and because we have a new defensive coordinator, I am hoping that both of them, Daronte Jones and David Blough, will have a lot of say and a lot of input on who is drafted and acquired to be on this team, because we've got two new people in charge. And yes, we know that Adam Peters goes out and gets the ingredients, but not Dan Quinn, David Blough and Daronte Jones are the two chefs in the house who have to cook. So I am hoping that they will have a lot of say in who is drafted and who is picked up through free agency, because again, we heard them both say what they want, what their vision is, and we know Daronte Jones is very focused, and we know he's very detail oriented. So I don't think Adam Peters can just go out and decide on his own by himself or with his crew, with his team, who would be best on defense, and Daronte Jones not have a say in it, because again, this coming season is a make or break season for Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is gambling on two coordinators without experience. Right. Coming off of a horrible losing season. So we know Dan Quinn is throwing it all to the wall to see what's going to stick. We know that. But I think David Blough is a good choice, but Daronte Jones is an excellent choice.
Gotcha. So look, Denise, real quick, from Mimi's 2647 says, D Nice is right. Y'all been trashed the whole time. But De'Ami Brown, the guy who doesn't play on the Jags, do you miss Brian Robinson, who doesn't even play for the 49ers? Good show. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
You know, to go back to what you're saying, Ms. 2647, Brian Robinson is missed. However, we
move on. We move on.
I mean, you're gonna win and you're gonna lose players, you know. So
exactly. And you know what? Brian Robinson made his contributions to this team when he was on our roster. And we will always be grateful to him, because it was Brian Robinson who got shot multiple times in the leg. He recovered very quickly. He returned, to play. So we appreciate what he did when he was here. But it was time to move on from him. And our running game did not suffer because of his absence.
Right.
Our running backs got us down the field. So, in this game, players come, players go. And sometimes, players move on to a different team and they do better or they do worse.
Right.
The real thing is, though, for us is we have to focus on the burgundy and gold. We have to
Yes.
focus on who's on our roster and making the most of who we've got. So, for everybody who's come, thank you. For everybody who's gone, we wish you well until you show up on our schedule. Then we don't wish you anything good at all. Okay.
Right.
So that's
Right.
it.
Right. Yeah. So, I think we
And
said
we want to
pretty
thank
much-
everybody who's in the chat. We want
Yes.
to thank you for tuning in to watch us live. We want to thank you for your comments. And look, if you agree or you disagree, please put that in the chat. We appreciate all of that. We appreciate your feedback, and it matters. So thank you very much for watching, for commenting. And if you are watching us on YouTube, please hit the like and hit the subscribe so you can get notifications and click on all. So that way, when we drop new content or we go live, you will get a notification and you won't miss anything. So thank you so much for that, viewers.
Yeah, thank you. And as I'm happy to be back, Denise. Glad to be back with you, my as you said, my illustrious co-host. So I appreciate it. We two of a kind. We're going to be moving forward with a lot of great things. More content. We're going to go on. We're going to do more lives. We're going to keep. What we would like is the participation from our chat. The more people we come in and interact with, we want to build that community. As we stated before, this is a safe space. So whether you're a Commander fan, whether you're an Eagles fan, you're a Dallas fan, we welcome all. This is a safe space where you can talk your trash, but make sure you have your facts together. Because you don't, D-Nice coming for you. But I just want to tell all my Commander fans, my loyal fans, all the subscribers, all our 100 subscribers that we have on YouTube, thank you so much for your support. We look forward to having more. As Denise and I say, we're on our journey to 1,000 subscribers, and we cannot do this without you. So please smash that like button, smash that bell icon, tell a friend so they can tell a friend. And I'm going to say this before I leave. As always, I tell everyone, love someone, hug someone. Be nice, love you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And oh my gosh, what was my mom's rhyme? It was
Keep Hope Alive 365.
Yes, keep hope alive 365.
Yeah, I know
That's
your mama.
right.
I know your mama. I know your mama. You forgot that, Denise. She gonna get you, Denise.
I know. I'm in trouble now.
Mama, I got you, Mama. I said it before. I got you.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, "How in the world did you forget that?" But yes, keep love alive 365. And thank you so much for tuning in. We want to thank our main man from down under, Shory. Shory, thank you so much. He told me he didn't, he's very humble. He didn't want me to mention it, but I'm just going to say thank you, Shory.
We always got to show
We're moving on.
Yeah, we're moving on.
He's a humble spirit, but he works hard for us. So thank you so much. But I do want to get back to the viewers, the people in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in to Two of a Kind, because this actually is the show where passion meets the game. We're passionate about the sports. We're passionate about our shows, and we are passionate about you, our viewers. So thank you so much, and we appreciate your comments. And again, we welcome all of your comments. So if you agree with us, share that. If you disagree with us, share that, because it is all good with us. We enjoy agreements and we enjoy disagreements. The only thing is, we here at Two of a Kind Sports are capable of disagreeing without becoming disagreeable. And we thank you fans for that too, because you've done a marvelous job at that. You've been able to disagree without being disagreeable, and we thank you for that. We appreciate you. So please subscribe, like, share, comment, keep up the good work, and we do appreciate your support here at Two of a Kind Sports.
Thank you. We love you.